All right, all right. And happy Thursday. If it's Thursday, that must mean it's time for Veganish. I am Dr. Monique, your host of Veganish. I am a board certified family physician known as the physician in the kitchen. And each week on this show, we talk about all things veganish, kind of what's the latest and greatest. And I share with you my personal aha moments along this journey of toward a more plant-based diet. I am so excited to be here with you tonight. Hey, Ellis, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm gonna. Hey, first of all, happy Black History Month.
Yes. So excited.
Right.
It's Black History
That's
Month.
right.
I think it's to unload and kind of just really issue Black History all year long. But this month
365.
we are specifically focusing on Black History, and the rest of the country gets to join us, and maybe that's what makes it so so fun.
So special. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, we live Black History 365, but it is nice to have a month set aside. I'm not gonna say anything about it being the shortest month, but anyway. So
I
I
know why
also,
that is, by the way.
huh?
I know why that is. Why it's in
Oh,
February.
why?
Okay, so Carter G. Woodson started. It was a Black History observant. Started back in like 1915.
Heard this.
And then they did, it was a Black History Week began in 1926. And so the reason why they chose February is because Frederick Douglass's birthday was in February, as so
Okay.
was Abraham Lincoln's birthday. So we were trying to, because Abraham Lincoln, of course, is credited with freeing the slaves. Frederick Douglass was a prominent figure back then. And so they were trying to celebrate both of those two important figures in Black
Okay.
history. And then it wasn't until the 70s, and I think 1974 is when Gerald Ford was the president, and he expanded it to from Black History Week to Black History Month, and they kept it in February. So it
Okay.
wasn't something dastardly. It was just it started as a day,
It's what
moved to
happened.
a week, and they just kept it in February.
Well,
So
thank you for that impromptu history lesson, Ellis. So yes, a lot is going on in February. We've got Black History Month. Today is also National Women's Physician Day, and so there 1/3 of American physicians are women, and only 2% of that 1/3 are Black women. So I sit before you as a minority, but I'm so happy to have this platform to be able to share with you things health related. So a lot going on. Um, in the month of February. It's also American Heart Month. So we're going to get into that a little bit more later. But first of all, you know how we start the show. We have to recognize and say hello to everybody. So for, if you're new, if this is your first time watching us, welcome. What we do at the top of the show is we go ahead and drop that area code, that zip code. Let us know where you're watching us from. So we've got Sherry. Hey, Sherry, thank you. Happy Black History Month to you. We've got Naisha coming in. Tell us where you are watching from, because we like to see the different parts of the country and the world represent. And I see my mom is on here with us tonight. So hi, mommy.
look, I got to be on
So
my best behavior. Mama watch. Hold up.
that's right. That's right. Mom's watching. So if you guys can see, I'm wearing some red here tonight. And no, it's not because I'm a Delta. I know it's what y'all are thinking. But as I mentioned, February is American Heart Month, and it's the month where we just basically try to call attention to cardiovascular health in this country, because unfortunately heart disease is actually the number one killer in this country. And on tomorrow, February 4th, it's Go Red for Women. So that's when we ask people to wear a little red pin from the American Heart Association to call attention to the effect of heart disease in women, because unfortunately 1 out of 3 women will die from heart disease. And we'll get into that a little bit more later. We're going to talk about what you can do to prevent or decrease your chances of heart disease. So we've got a lot to get to today. So let's see. So we've got Arkansas. Oh my goodness. Arkansas and Sacramento, Michigan. Love it. I hope you guys know it in up there. I know that the kind of East Coast, upper half of the country has been getting walloped. Tallahassee, Florida. I love it. Be sure, guys and ladies, tag your friends, your family, your loved ones. Tell them come on here and fellowship with us. We've got a lot of good information. And these are the fastest 30 minutes of your day. I
And they're
promise.
fun. They're fast and fun.
They're fast and fun. So you don't want to miss a minute. Pennsylvania is here. I have taught Pennsylvania. I went to Temple Medical School. One of these things back here on the wall is from Temple Medical Schools in Philly. So thank you for joining. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So last week, Monique Gary. Okay, first of all, Monique, hello, love. And you are from, and actually, Dr. Gary, that's Dr. Monique Gary. She is
Oh yeah, yeah.
a breast cancer surgeon. So
Your ears should have been burning the other night because I talked to Dr. Gary the other night, and we brought you up.
oh my goodness. Well, her name is Monique. So, I mean, hello. And, and she's from Philly. So, come on now. Thank you so much for watching, sis. I appreciate that. She is another one of the 2%, the 2% of physicians in this country doing what we can for our patients. So, thank you so much. So, today, last week we talked about, so all these diets are out there, right? You hear all these diets, these terms, these words are flying around. And, on this show, my job is to help kind of demystify some of that stuff for you guys and bring it down in digestible. See what I did there? Indigestible bits. But remember, you saw the disclaimer. This information is meant to educate and inform. We are not here to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. So please remember that and take any information you learned tonight back to your physician to craft what's personalized and best for you. So we've been talking about vegan. We kind of know what the vegan diet is, right? It's pretty much no animals, all plants. But why don't we start dropping in the chat? My mother's so sweet. She said, much love to you all. She's so sweet. Why don't you all start dropping in the chat some of the diets that you've heard of? What are some of the top diets that you've heard of or that you've even tried, right?
Yeah.
If you've tried some of these diets, let us know. And, one of my first shows was diet is a 4-letter word, right? Do y'all remember that? There was way back in October, because to me, the capital when diet is capitalized, like in these fad diets, it makes me a little nervous because generally speaking, that's something you're doing short term versus small case diet, which is what the majority of your food is made up of over time. So we're going to get into a little bit of and there's a lot. I actually want to discuss 6 with you. So we're going to have a part 2. Okay. So this week we're going to do the first 3 and next week. So yes, Sherry said keto dash. Sherry, can she get like a gold star or something?
She's on it.
So yes, so we're going to actually start with paleo. So the paleo diet, Mediterranean, definitely. So we'll get to those next week. So if you've heard of the paleo diet, just drop a yes in the chat. Because when I first heard about paleo, I was like, well,
what a cabbage diet?
See,
they're making up diets now. She's
see, Weight Watchers, definitely. Yeah. So Noom, Noom is like the newest one of the new kid on the block. I got to do my research on Noom, but I'm hearing good things about it.
Noom tries to approach the psychology of dieting, and it tells you habits and how to break your poor eating habits. It helps you understand what your habits are, and it uses like cognitive behavioral therapy.
Exactly, and that is so important because as we've said on this show before, a lot of eating is not nutritional eating. Sometimes it's emotional eating, and so when you start to really unlock that, you can address what's driving you to make some of the choices you're making. So love it. New diet. I've not heard of that one. So that'll have to check that one out. So today we're going to talk about paleo, keto diet, and the Whole30. That one's out there. So if you've heard of these, drop it in the chat. So the paleo diet. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about 4 things. What it is, what you can't eat on the diet, what you can eat on the diet, and actually I said 4 or 5, the benefits and the drawbacks to it. Okay. So for the paleo diet, it basically is short for Paleolithic. And someone had the bright idea that, hey, maybe a lot of the disease that we're seeing in modern man and woman is because we're eating foods that are far away from what we used to eat, if you believe in evolution and, back when man first came on the scene. So the paleo diet is meant to take us back to earlier times, evolutionary times, before we started manufacturing, before we started farming, things like that. So when you think of it that way, the things that you can't eat kind of make sense. So you can have fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, fish, and lean meats. You can also have oils from fruits and nuts as well. It's like olive oil. So basically, things that the hunters and gatherers could get together. Versus what you can't eat, which are going to be things that came along after we started manufacturing and having some processing. So things like grains, right? You think you should be able to eat grains, but grains were actually cultivated from farming. So you can't have grains like wheat, oats, and barley. You can't have legumes, which are your beans, lentils, peanuts, and you can't have dairy products, refined sugar, things like that. So, and highly processed food in general, which nobody needs to be eating anyway. So that's a good thing. But so what are some of the benefits of a paleo diet? Well, it's thought that you lose more weight on it. You have a better glucose tolerance. Your sugar levels are better. Your insulin resistance goes down. Blood pressure gets better. Lower triglycerides, which are the fatty part of the cholesterol profile. That's what we look at. And it's also thought to be helpful with appetite management. But on the flip side, some of the downsides are, and you guys already know what I'm going to say. What are some of the downsides? You can't eat grains. You can't eat legumes. Those are actually healthy for you. And not to mention, flavorful. So not too keen on that part. Some people, when they first start the paleo diet, may actually have insomnia. And that's thought to be due to some of the brain chemicals. You don't get to make them because your sugar levels are lower, and they could cause insomnia. It can be hard to maintain. Again, like any of these fad diets, you do it for a while, but then it's hard to do that forever. And then it can be expensive depending on what you're buying to eat. And there's not been any long-term scientific studies on the long-term outcomes. So what do you guys think about that? So that's number one. That's paleo, which is, again, taking us kind of back in time. And the thought is to kind of just maybe we'll see a decrease in some of the health-related problems or dietary-related problems that we're seeing now if we go back to how it used to be.
So I guess, just for our show's purposes, the paleo diet has a little bit of meat. It's got the fish and
The
lean
lean
meat.
meat.
And then it's eliminating the legumes and the nuts that are part of the vegan diet.
Right. You can have nuts
But
because
not
those
the
are,
beans and
but
grains. That's right.
not the beans. Right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, not peanuts because peanuts are
Oh no,
legumes.
yeah, then that can't be for me.
Right.
I can't do that.
Right. So if anyone here has tried the paleo diet, drop it in the chat if you don't mind sharing it. Kind of just tell us what your experience was with it and how long you did it, and what your personal experience was. I have not tried any of these, so I'm coming to you just from the research part of it, looking it up. If there's some real life experience out there, I would love for you guys to share. So that's paleo. Next is the keto diet, which is short for ketogenic. And this one, I have some mixed emotions about the keto diet. Because first of all, this was developed a while years ago to help children with intractable seizures with epilepsy. And the premise behind this one is that you put your body in a state of ketosis, meaning you're using an alternate sugar fuel instead of using, I'm sorry, an alternate source of fuel. So instead of using glucose, you are using ketones, which your body burns. It's a breakdown of fat, breakdown product of fat, and that's what you use to drive everything. So it's a very low carb, moderate protein, and high fat diet, and that breaks down to about 70% fat, 20% protein, and only 10% carbs. So I know, right? That sounds a little crazy. 70% fat. Well, ideally, the fat is the healthy fat, the unsaturated fat
Oh, okay.
versus the saturated fat. But, some people hear, oh, I can eat all the fat I want. Give me bacon, 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 bacon.
Man,
And, so it can go left kind of quickly. But what you can eat on this diet is meat, right? So you want to have the fatty seafood, so fish like salmon and mackerel and tuna, the ones that are high in omega-3. Most fats and oil, your high fat dairy. This is not the time to do skim milk if you're doing keto. And vegetables that are found above ground. So that would eliminate all your potato, your root vegetables. And
quick
nuts.
question.
Mhm.
Mom, I was with you. I went straight to bacon too. So, doesn't dairy products increase mucus production in the body, and isn't that supposed to be bad for you?
Some people have noticed that connection. I've seen conflicting reports on that as far as science. There's scientific proof that the jury is kind of still out on that. But like I will always tell my patients, if you eat something and you notice this happens after you eat it, then I'm not going to tell you no. So, but some people swear by it, so I'm not going to argue with them.
Right.
But yes. So Sherry said, with keto, is there more risk of heart disease? Exactly. So we're going to definitely touch on that. So what you can't eat on keto is pretty much all fruits, because again, it's low sugar, it's low carbs. And fruits are high in that fructose. Fruits are high in fructose, which is fruit sugar. I know. So, but this is what it is. So almost all fruits, most grains, starches, also legumes. Legumes is not feeling any love in these diets.
For real.
Um, real sweeteners and sugar, certain oils, low fat dairy, and alcohol. And condiments
Oh yeah,
on
yeah. I can't mess with that one either.
too. Because again,
I'm
sugar.
out.
These are yeah.
I'm out. You
He's
said
like,
no alcohol. I'm out.
he's like, it's not for me. Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. But some of the benefits, so to get to Sherry's question, some of the benefits is because you're in ketosis, which is this state of burning fat, the brains then switch to using that for fuel versus sugar. And your blood sugar levels go down and your insulin levels decrease as well. And it's thought also to reduce your appetite, hunger, and can lead to weight loss. And it gets rid of processed high carb foods, which is a good thing, right? But some of the drawbacks to it is, again, we've eliminated legumes and healthy grains. It's also hard to maintain long term, and there's actually something called the keto flu. This was interesting when I read this. Basically, it's the first 10 to 21 days where you're pretty much going through withdrawal, I guess, because you're not
Mhm.
getting any sugar. Um, and so it can make you feel kind of out of sorts for those first couple of weeks while you're doing it. And there's not enough long-term evidence to say, how long-term studies to say what the long-term effect of this diet is, like you said, for heart disease. Um, and Sherry, you're absolutely right. Constipation, headache, and actually halitosis are some of the side effects of the
Ooh.
keto diet.
But have some gum or some. Oh, what's the one we can eat? The Eclipse, right?
You can have juicy fruit and
Just
oh gosh, that was it. Trident. I can't remember. I
no,
know
it
it was
wasn't.
and Hubba Bubba. I know Hubba Bubba was the other one. But yeah, it cuts out a lot of
From
healthy
high school.
food.
So shout out to Amber. She said she reversed her type 2 diabetes with the keto diet and lost
Well, there
85
you
pounds.
go. And hopefully you were doing that under the discretion or guidance of your physician, because as we said before, this information is general, and there are
Right.
times where certain things may be beneficial. Again, this diet was very helpful for children with epilepsy, and so it just is kind of morphed into the general culture, but it was actually medically prescribed. So there is that, but again, we do have to be concerned about the long-term effects. And then just for real quickly, Whole 30. And this one I've heard of, but I had to really do a little deep diving on this one. So basically, what the Whole 30 diet is, and it's whole WHOLE 30, is basically it's an elimination diet. So it's no sugar, no alcohol, no grains, no legumes, no dairy, or treats um, are allowed for 30 days. So the idea is that, and this might be good for people who are having like skin issues or
Wait. Run that list back again. That I can't eat for
pretty much
30 days.
everything you like to eat.
Okay, so that's a fast. That's not a whole 30. That's a fast.
It sounds right, exactly. But you can eat other stuff, but you can't eat sugar, alcohol, grains, legumes, or dairy for 30 days. And then what you do is you gradually start adding back. So you can have moderate amounts of meat, seafood, eggs, vegetables, some fruits like berries, natural fats such as like nuts and seeds, avocados, herbs, and spices. But again, you're not going to be able to eat MSG, junk food, which is a good thing, added sugar or legumes. So some of the benefits of this diet is it eliminates triggers for people who again are having either intestinal issues or dermatologic issues,
Right.
joint inflammation, things like that. But again, no scientific studies on the long-term effects of this. And like anything else, it's hard to maintain long-term, and it eliminates a lot of healthy foods. So those are the 3 for this week. So what do you guys think about that?
Sherry says she's heard the whole 30. I'm hoping the better 3 are next week, because there's not any one of these 3 I'm about to jump on.
Yeah, I was and actually there's actually a pagan diet, which is paleo and vegan. They put the 2 together and it's called pagan. So you eat certain meats and certain. I was like, that's too much. It's just doing too
If I
much.
got to think that hard, about
I'm
what I can eat
saying,
today, I'm
I'm
not going to do
saying,
it.
I'm
Mm-mm.
saying
Mm-mm.
life is hard enough, right? Like
And you
why?
call it pagan too? I'm a Christian. I can't do all that.
I know, right?
My
Like,
religion won't let me do that. I can't do it.
so, but yeah, she said vegan juicy fruit for that bad breath on keto. I know it's a lot. It's a lot of moving parts with these diets. So, but again, this is just these are out here, and so I want you guys to be aware of them, to kind of know what's what and what benefits one may offer versus the other. But in general, I'm dating myself here, but do you guys remember Siskel and Ebert, the movie critics?
Mm-hmm.
These both get all 3 of these get thumbs down for me, because they're eliminating too much of the good stuff. So, all right. So Lynn said he could do keto easy. Okay. Well, so that's 2. We got 2 votes for keto so far. So Sherry said, sounds like the diets discussed tonight have a lot of disadvantages for long-term lifestyle. Exactly. That's one of their key things that they have in common, is that it's hard to maintain these long term. So again, if you're trying to lose weight for that high school 30-year reunion, or to get in that wedding dress or something, you might do these kind of things, but just keep in mind that once you come off, then what happens, right? Which is with any diet, it's not just these. So we are going to go ahead and transition, because these 30 minutes are flying by. So we're going to switch it up a little bit this week. So instead of vegan or not, we're going to talk a little bit more about heart disease. So as I mentioned, February is American Heart Month, and heart disease is out there. And so, we have a lot of ladies watching the show, which is awesome. I love that. But I want to just make sure, because heart disease is not always what people think it is. And when we're talking about heart disease, let's just kind of get that out there. Because there's lots of different things that can be wrong with your heart. But when we say heart disease, and the heart disease that we're talking about specifically in this month is cardiovascular disease, or atherosclerotic heart disease, the $15 word for blocked arteries, right? When Red Fox, I'm having another one, this is the big one, Elizabeth, right? So, he was imitating that he was having a heart attack. So the classic presentation of heart attack is, right here in the middle of your chest. Pressure can travel up into your neck. You may get nauseous, you may get sweaty. That's the textbook. If you read the textbook and you decide to have a heart attack, that's what you're going to go to your doctor and say you're having. However, women, because we're women and we're complicated, don't always read the textbook. And so we don't always have those symptoms. So I can recall off the top of my head admitting 2 women from my office who were having heart attacks. And guess what their symptom was? Who wants to take a wild guess what these ladies thought they were having? And they came to me instead of going directly to the ER, which is where I sent them by ambulance. But any wild guesses out there on what these ladies thought they were having?
A hot flash?
No, not hot flashes. And very common. It's a very common thing. It's nothing weird. Anxiety, that's a good guess. That is a very good guess. Yes, anxiety can make you have chest pain and palpitations. But no, these ladies, heartburn. Thank you, Lynn.
Okay.
They were having heartburn. They thought they were having heartburn, because women don't always have that classic elephant sitting on my chest. They may just be a little more tired than usual, or they may feel short of breath with exertion. They may notice swelling in their legs, which is the more symptoms of heart failure that can be caused by a silent heart attack. Add on top of that, if you're diabetic, you may not have any of those symptoms.
Right.
So I just want to call to your attention. Gas, yes. Some people think, oh, I'm having gas. This you don't have gas like up here. I mean, let me rephrase that. Yes, of course your esophagus is up here and you belch. But when people think they have gas all moving all around, gas is not just running willy-nilly throughout your body. I need for people to stop saying that. There are certain organs where there should be gas in your body, and if it's outside of those organs, you're in big trouble. So it's a lot of times people think, oh, I got some pain up here, it must be gas. No, that's not gas.
You know that you know how we treat gas.
I'm
you know how
scared
we
to-
treat gas. Little ginger ale, you'll be all right.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sometimes it is gas, but when it's in weird places, that's what I'm saying. And so that's what I'm saying. So yeah, so I just want to make you aware, because sometimes old school tales and so yes, but sometimes women will have what we call atypical symptoms or silent symptoms, and so as a doctor we have to have a high level of suspicion, and as a patient I want to encourage you all that if something doesn't feel right, please don't stop until you get the answer. Sometimes symptoms are brushed off or minimized, and full workup may not be done. But if you feel that something's not quite right and you don't feel that your doctor is getting the full story, then don't stop there. Go to someone else. I just want to say that because doctors are human and things happen. But if it's your body and you know that if it's just not feeling right, please get the answers that you need. So let's see. So we've got a coworker is now doing a keto diet and taking monthly vitamin shots. I can't remember which vitamin, but I question the safety of this and the doctor administering shots. Ooh. And it might be vitamin B12. Well, no, vitamin B12 wouldn't be it because that's in meat. And if they're eating meat, they shouldn't be B12 deficient. So Sherry said, is venous insufficiency in the family of heart disease? Oh, that's a great question. Technically, it's cardiovascular, if you want to put it that way. It's in the system, the heart vessel system, but it's not the heart per se. Venous insufficiency means that the valves in your veins and your legs are floppy. And so if you stand up too long, or if you're overweight or have other issues that it can be hereditary, you'll have varicose veins. And that's what we call venous insufficiency. So no, you can have a perfectly healthy, normal heart and have venous insufficiency, but that's a great question. So hopefully this information was helpful. We're going to talk more throughout the month about heart disease, things you can do to prevent it. But I do want to share just real quickly some information that the American Heart Association is putting out this month, and it's called Reclaim Your Rhythm. And I really want to leave you guys with this because I like this. And this is from the American Heart Association. And what they always have the statistics. So in 2019, over 874,000 Americans died of heart disease. But what they want to focus on this year is, because we're still in this COVID-19 pandemic, they're using the phrase reclaim your rhythm as a way to reclaim control of your mental and physical health after 2 years of being in this pandemic. And what they're encouraging people to do is at least 150 minutes of exercise per week. And physical activity. I think we're getting away from calling it exercise. Physical activity, meaning move your body, however you want to do that. Find something that you enjoy doing, because guess what? Then you'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Eating healthy, which we talk about all the time on here and other shows across the platform. Not smoking or vaping. Maintaining a healthy weight, controlling your blood pressure, your blood sugar, cholesterol, all those kinds of things. And so, and even learning how to do CPR. So, getting with the American Heart Association and learning CPR, it could save someone's life. So we have come up on our time. Oh my goodness. Yes. It just goes so fast. I'm telling you, these are the fastest 30 minutes ever.
Sherry, we're going to use the hashtag reclaim your rhythm. You're right. And I think they moved away from the word exercise because exercise has a whole different connotation.
It does.
It makes people feel like they got to put on these clothes, and exercise could just be getting up and vacuuming your house, like movement, right? Because that 10 minutes could be what you need for that moment, right? So you don't really need a whole lot. Like you can dance. Dancing is not considered exercise, but it's something for movement.
Oh,
And
it's
it's
totally
something
exercise.
as long
Totally.
as your heart rate is going up.
Exactly.
So we have to kind of, they want to expand that framework of exercise. So we just say movement, we say some sort of physical activity,
Exactly.
and they can include all of these other activities that somebody wouldn't say traditionally is exercise. You know, people
And I
get
encourage people to think about yoga. If I could go back and tell my younger self, that question comes up, what would you tell you? Start doing yoga, like when your knees work, right? But
yoga is
yoga
fantastic. It is
Yoga
fantastic.
is amazing, and I'm talking like 5 minutes. Y'all know I talk about Peloton. They have 5 minute. You can do 5 minute chair yoga,
Mhm.
desk yoga, just something to kind of get moving and stretching, and it really makes a difference, especially particularly if you're working from home like a lot of us are. Um, build some time into your day. 5 minutes. Set a reminder on your phone to
Yeah.
just get up and stretch and walk away and reset. So, but yeah, so we will talk more next week uh, about the get up and move. Yes, there you go. We'll talk more next week about heart disease, and we're actually next week we're going to talk about eating red foods. So I got to bring it back to food somehow. So we're talking about red this month. So wear your red tomorrow in honor of Go Red for Women. And actually next week we're going to be on Tuesday night, but we'll be doing part 2 of these diets, and hopefully we'll find one that Ellis will actually do. And
Yeah. You know what? And I don't want to disparage any of these guys because we've already had some success stories in the comment section. I just a little bit concerned about the keto diet just because we understand the body just tries to maintain homeostasis. So you're tricking your body into using
burning
fats, and
fat.
I don't know how long that's sustainable over time.
Right,
And so
right.
that's my only concern. And so I think Sherry and your mom may have said something in the comment section. So I agree. I don't know how sustainable. That's my issue. Plus,
Totally.
I do like a drink every once in a while. So the one thing,
Oh, yeah.
I can't mess with.
It's hard. So Lynn, I want to acknowledge, she said she's got a class tomorrow. Is that a CPR? Because I don't know if
Yoga.
you. Oh,
Yoga. We were talking
yoga.
about
Oh,
yoga. She got yoga class tomorrow.
enjoy it. Enjoy it.
So
You'll have to tell us about that next time, how it went for you.
namaste, Lynn.
That's right. Look at you.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
I was big in yoga for a minute.
take it to the
Yeah.
mat. Take it to the mat. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I try to get my son into it. I tell him, I say, LeBron James does yoga, and I think that's amazing because when I first started doing yoga, I thought I was too tall to do yoga. I know this is so ridiculous, but
Mm-mm.
some of the poses, I thought my legs were like too. But yeah, if
Mm-mm.
LeBron can do it, I know I can do it. But you guys, we're gonna get
Clears
out of here.
energy, increases your blood pressure, settles your blood pressure. It prevents injuries as well because your muscles are more pliable. So when you're out doing other things, you don't have as many injuries. I could go on about yoga, but we're way over our time.
We are. So you guys follow me on Physician in the Kitchen on social media, and be sure to tune in Tuesday night at 8:00. We're going to be on Tuesday instead of Thursday next week with part 2 of
Yep.
What's in Your Diet. Good night. Thanks for
See y'all.
watching.